Thank you, Adorama, for having me, and thank you, Seth, for such a wonderful introduction. And so today is going to be about how do you choose light shapers. Light shapers are things like this Softbox, this telezoom reflector, and a bunch of things that I don't know how I'm going to get back to the parking garage later, but I got them here, so we'll figure it out. So in choosing a light shaper, there's a lot of decisions. And today, I'm going to try to walk you guys through 20 different lighting looks. Now, before I burn up more of my time, how are we going to decide whether there are 20 different looks? You guys have to tell me whether or not these are actually 20 different looks. So if I do a look and move on to the next one, you're like, that doesn't count. You cheated. That's too similar to what you did previously. Do it again. All right? So I don't know how many we're going to get to today, but I'm going to try to get through 25. So one of my favorite light shapers I'm going to start out with is a Profoto telezoom reflector. It's what's boomed right above our model's head. Yes, I have a safety cable on it, so she is safe. And I won't be moving it around a lot because I am a little bit tired, so if I did, you could wash out. And underneath the telezoom reflector, we have Dasha. Can I get a round of applause for Dasha? And so I will be metering today because getting through this many looks, I don't want to take a lot of time guessing where my lights are at. I want to try to always land on my shot within, like, let's say 1 or 2 shots. And then any judgments I make will all be based upon, like, creatively what I want to do. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm using this in cordless flash mode. That's why I have a trigger in my hand. And then I keep a trigger just on top of my camera. Therefore, I never have to take it off. And I just use this to change the power, since I can't change the power directly from the Staconic light meter right now. So firing up our light meter. I'm using Staconic 858. I'm at 1/125th of a second at ISO 80, which is basically the base settings for the Fuji GFX. I'm going to turn on our telezoom reflector. So the first thing we're going to go for is something very moody, something very dramatic. I would say not the most flattering light. Right now I'm at 8.7. I'm going to do this again. One thing with the telezoom reflector is this is so efficient that the modeling light is actually contributing about 20% of my exposure. I want to see what it looks like without the modeling light, because the modeling light within here has a different quality of light to it. So now I'm going to take another reading without the modeling light on, and I'm at about 8.5. So for our first shot, and again, for here, we're going something like a little spooky, a little monster lighting. So in terms of expression, a little evil, just a little bit. Like, act like you were waiting for a taxi cab.
Really quick, what are you shooting with? Camera, lens, all that stuff?
I'm shooting with a Fuji GFX with a 45 to 100. And maybe have your arms kind of a little bit more pensive. Tilt your chin just a little bit more. Perfect. And kind of coming in with our first exposure here. Just double checking my ISO and shutter speed. And you see we have something like really, really, really dramatic. Now you can look at this and just be like, that's way too much shadow. And most people would solve that problem by turning the power up. But in a case like this, you would simply just raise your chin and chin to the side just a little bit. Perfect. With a little adjustment, you see now we have something much different. Now I'm going to meter to the top of her forehead because I see it's really hot up there. And before I was a little bit lower, and chin up again, kind of looking up. And you head to the side, almost the same pose we had before. Perfect. Now I can see I'm at 16.4 now, changing my exposure to 16.4. And that's our first look, which is really dramatic. We still don't get a lot of light in the eyes, but I'm going to go in with this really dramatic look as our first look, and we're going to bring some hands near the face. Beautiful. And I'm just going to get 5 frames. 1, keep your chin up. 2, 3, 4, and maybe hit to the side even more. 5. Perfect. Now, what I would do to lift the shadows here, and another really nice thing about a light shaper like this telezoom reflector is the light is so focused, even though our model's only, let's say 8 inches off the background's completely dark, even though it's a white background. And so sometimes getting another look simply comes in the inches. And so I'm going to turn the modeling light back on so I can kind of see what the light is doing. Sorry about that. And what I'm going to do now is safely and slowly, sorry, it's a little tight over here. Normally I wouldn't be this close, but Dash and I know each other, so this doesn't feel that strange and uncomfortable. I'm going to bring this light back here. And I'm going to ask you to position yourself back further. Perfect. And now, I know our power probably hasn't changed much, so I'm not going to go through the effort of really remetering this. And to make this more of a portrait, again, I'm trying to see if I can get away with another look here. I'm going to bring our camera back just a little bit. And I hope you guys are timing. So I want to see if I can get away with look number 2. And think of this as kind of like a dramatic portrait. You're like sitting back underneath a street light, maybe like one leg up, one leg down. Yes, perfect. And you're waiting on like your tattoo from this tattoo parlor. And 1, 2, and 3. Different enough or no?
That's the same modifier.
Yeah, I know it's the same modifier, but does the light look different enough?
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, okay, I got one. It's not good enough. What am I gonna do to change this? What if I diffuse it? Josh, can I have you get up really quick? Do not laugh in my diffuser. Yes.
More on the mic. Put it more on the mic.
They used to call me the rubber band man. Some of you guys get that joke, some of you don't. Sometimes jokes are good at just burning time. But the way I'm clipping this on here is with a rubber band. Okay, so now I'm gonna put that on there. Because I put diffusion on there, I'm gonna remeter. I almost grabbed my microphone off instead of, I'm gonna have you lean back again. I'm at 8, 9, perfect. So I'm gonna open up just a touch. And no, still not enough. Still not. Man, I got a tough crowd here. You know what? Now let's add in a fill light. And for our fill light, I want to gel it. Does anyone know how to get to the proper exposure with a gel in one take? Because sometimes you can wrestle with using a gel, right? So right now we're, oh, you know the answer? So the gentleman said here, underexposed by about 2 stops. But to get as accurate as possible, what you would do is first get the correct exposure of your light. So my fill light's back there. Do I have a gel on there right now? I do not. First, you want to get the correct exposure of your light. So I'm going to get that light. Right now, we're at 2.8. I am going to get it. Now we're at f8 on this light right here. And what was I shooting at? Does anyone remember? I was shooting at about 8.5, so about f10. I'm going to go up a little bit more. All right, so now I'm only off by about 1/3 of a stop. Yes, sir?
Cliff Hausner would like to know where to buy that diffuser.
Oh, you can, that is a piece of full grid cloth that I like because it's a little bit more focused than traditional diffusions. And so now I'm gonna show you, I'm not gonna, know what? This is good. This is a quick gimme, right? Now I'm gonna use my fill light as my main light and we'll do the same pose. So this isn't really a street light. This is, you're in the studio to photo shoot because that's what this light is gonna look like. Perfect, and is that different enough? Okay, that's a different look. Give me 3 frames here. Let me get this quick gimme real quick. Love, love. Perfect. All right, but the whole purpose of this was to gel this light. So now that I know I have this light properly exposed, I was gonna ask you guys what gel should I use, but about 30 minutes ago, I realized I want it to be red. Granddaddy said he wants something red, so here we go. I'm gonna put something red on here. And I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm literally just gaff taping right to the inside of the softbox over the light. And now that I know I have this properly exposed, don't worry, I won't use this to get away with another look. I'm just gonna show you what it looks like when I have a gel on there, because you guys know I like to shoot a lot. Perfect. And so now we see what it looks like when we have red. One of the things you can do once you do have using like a red gel, simply changing your color temperature, you can see you can lessen it or deepen it. I'm gonna want this to be a little bit more underexposed for what we're going with our next shot. So now I'm gonna just lower this red by a stop to about right there. I love that. Now I'm gonna tie in our A light and see if I can get away with another look. And you're a tough one, man. Now let me get away with nothing. Nothing. Now, is that different enough? That's another look? Cool, let's knock this out. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Absolutely love it. Perfect. So now we have 3 looks down. We added in this little gel as our fill light. Having the light directly above, you see we were able to, let's kind of go back and see like what 3 looks we have approved right now by the judge sitting over there. Here comes the judge.
Someone in the chat's saying, mention the ab challenge. You'll know what it means.
So now, oh, the ab challenge is I have to get through 20 looks, and I'm not even gonna look at what my watch is. So now we're at a solid 3. And I have to think about what I'm gonna do for my next one, because I got a tough customer over here. But I did write some stuff down. And because you're such a tough judge, I have to get rid of like 3 ideas already. So, no, I like this. I like this. And Dasha, if you step away for a moment, just to be a little safe. If you guys weren't here, I would just take this down and risk it, because Dasha and I have done this for a while. Sorry, Seth, I know that's like getting all that in your ear, but think of it as like a little bit of ASMR. So, Dasha, I'm gonna have you sit down again. Actually, stand back up. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get rid of this light. But in case I wanna use this rig, one of the things you can do if you're doing like multiple lighting setups, if you have something that you've already taken the time to like rig and grip it, just leave that piece of rigging where it's at so that you don't have to redo it later on. So I'm taking a safety cable that I have on here that, again, I'm only doing this because you guys are watching on TV and I don't want to get trolled that hard for something safety related. But normally we ride a little dirty when we're shooting. And if somebody gets hurt, guess what? That's what insurance is for. I'm joking, but you guys aren't laughing, so clearly no one thinks it's funny. So I'm gonna take this light off. I don't know what kind of extension cord that is. And right here, I have another stand ready to go. And Dash, you can sit back in safely again. So now I'm gonna move this to a different position. And if this doesn't work, I see I'm gonna have to start paying off the guy in the green shirt to say that that was a different look. So now that I get this kind of positioned roughly, I think this is gonna be a different look. Like if you don't like this one, we're gonna have to argue about this one. I'm gonna position it about right here. I'm gonna move this bag. And now I'm gonna plug the light in after I lower it again. I feel like I'm only on number 3, so I feel like this is gonna get a little tough. But this is one of my favorite lighting setups. I feel like this feels somewhat like a Fresnel. Why would I use this telezoom over a Fresnel? Power. The benefit of using a reflector like this telezoom reflector is I get an insane amount of power. And now that I'm standing behind the light, I can lower the modeling light so that it's a little less intense. And so I want the hotspot basically right on her face. And I always like my light to either be even on the whole face, or I like it to fall off from the forehead going down or from the center of the face going down. And so I'll come back over. Gosh, you look a little too comfortable. Perfect. Actually sit up for me just a little bit more. Love that. And again, I'm metering. I'm turning off our fill light, because that's my secret weapon. I can always throw that back in there, see? He's like, no, you can't. Turn that light on, see what I do. I did not turn it all the way off. 1 second. Sometimes it doesn't get the signal, therefore it did. So I'm at F11.6, I'm only at power 3.5. I'm gonna get this light back down to 8.7. Why am I trying to get this light back down to 8.7 where it was when it was over her head? Does anyone know why? So if I do decide at any point to turn my fill light back on, the ratio doesn't change. And so now I'm gonna see if I can get away with this being another look. I'm gonna come in a bit tighter for this one. This will kind of be like a hard light beauty shot. I'm gonna get rid of that little piece of metal hanging right there. I don't know how we would tie that into the shot, but you guys did not see me almost take a fall, but that stuff really plays well on YouTube. So I would have went with it. And now we're gonna be more like beauty, perfect. Is that a different look?
Yeah.
Perfect, yes. And so here you can see I have the light more in her face. And in terms of efficiency, I'm only at power 2.7 and I'm at F10, like a third of a stop under F11. So one reason I like using a telezoom reflector is if I'm outside and I'm putting light through a window and I need to get it very concentrated, the telezoom is perfect for that because it's very, very, very efficient. I have less than like a speed light power going through here and I'm at F11 with no problem. Now let's get 5 looks and you kind of see our frame, kind of like that tight beauty shot. Love it. Perfect. Beautiful. Last one. Perfect. Now, moving on from here, a lot of people like to know the difference between a silver and a white beauty dish. Has anyone ever had that question? Thank you. I'm going to show you. Thank you for participating. And everybody thinks teaching is easy. And then they wonder why you talk to yourself, you know? Like this is one of those things where like either you go home with like the music in the car turned off and you're just in your own thoughts, or you turn it on because you had a good demo.
Someone in the chat's asking if you ever use a grid with that zoom, with the telezoom.
If I'd use a grid with the telezoom,
Do you ever use it?
do I ever use a grid with the telezoom? The answer is yes. And if I can sneak away with getting another look by pulling out the grid for the telezoom reflector. So now, and this grid is, this goes back to your time. Trust me, sir. This is this grid right here. And I say that with all love and good intention. So now we're going to put a grid on there. I have to be very careful that I don't drop the light on my head. You see that? That would have been fun. And I would have got a free light from ProPhoto because they would have felt bad for me. But now I can see the light isn't perfectly aimed towards her head when I have the grid on here. So I have to reposition this just a little bit. For this, I'll turn the modeling light up a bit. Sorry about that. Depending on who you're shooting, like if you're shooting someone who's a little higher maintenance, you do have to be careful using a modeling light in something this intense. But to see what the grid does, because this is a question, I get away with this being another look. I'm at 4.9, so I need to turn this up. 8.3, 8.7. So now I kind of have our exposure where all of our other lights are. And Dasha, let's pray we get away with another look. You know what I'm going to do to try to sneak this as another look? I'm going to try to reframe this. So I'm going to put you all the way like on the left-hand side. I love the foot being up in the air. And we're going to do as much as we can to try to make this feel different. And another look. Yes! And you ready? Real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, we're putting this model portfolio together, but what do I have in my back pocket ready to go at any given time? Shut up. Now we're gonna another 5. Is that another look? Perfect. 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoever in the audience asked about the grid, thank you. And you may your first child be blessed. All right, where do we go with next? Any other questions in the chat? Or do you guys want to see the difference between these beauty dishes really quick? I think I'm gonna have to make it really quick before you run out of time. So I feel like pretty soon someone's gonna be like, it's time to go. So I'm like, I'm not leaving. Did I bring out? Beg your pardon? Only 20 minutes into this? Team, we are good to go. So before I put these beauty dishes on here, I am going to just let you see what this looks like bare bulb. I will not count this as another look. You know, technically this is another look. And I may use it later on if I need a gimme, which is something like really quick that I have in my back pocket to quickly say that I have another look, but I'm not gonna use it now. Ooh, let me turn off my, now I'm at 4.02. So I lost some power there. I am 8.02, 8.9, 88, 87. Why am I doing this? I want you to see what bare bulb looks like. Because pretty soon, put up just a little higher so it's in a shot. Perfect. Perfect. That's another shot. No, give me 5 of those. 2, 3, 4, 5. But we came here to see the beauty dish. Let me not get sidetracked. Did I get away with that? All right, my man. You doing this like I'm having a free giveaway at the end of this. What's up? Hey, even though I do prefer to shop at Target. Hey, no, I'm playing. I don't go to either one of them. I shop at Adorama. Even for my groceries. You don't know they got whole chickens over there? And they're kosher. I bet you didn't know. That was appropriate. We're in New York. And what else they gonna be? Come on.
I just said it was cringe.
That was not cringe. That was good comedy.
If you have to say that was good comedy, it was not good comedy.
You know what? I hear people laughing. I just don't see them laughing. So for our beauty dish, this is a white beauty dish. And I'm gonna start with it. It feels like it's about 2 feet away, but in order to show the difference, I really wanna show the fall off when using the silver and the white. So Dasha, I'm gonna have you move about 2 feet away from this beauty dish. I'm gonna retighten it because I should have another safety cable up here. And you're gonna come closer, maybe about a foot, even a little bit more. Perfect. And for anyone that just doesn't want to know, I just shot 18 different beauty dishes. And now I have to organize those files. And that's a problem. Gosh, I'm gonna get a little bit closer. Maybe about 5 inches. Perfect. Like you should feel it 1 with the light. Like think not that close. You went like a moth. I'm talking like at 1, you know? You should feel like, you know, maybe you're in church, but not like in the forest, like running towards a flame or something, you know? That made no sense, but sometimes you just got to hear yourself talk. One thing as a photographer you have to get used to is keeping yourself company and putting a sandbag on a light because somebody saw that. But, you know, I ride dirty sometimes. And sometimes you forget to put a sandbag on when you're doing a little demo. And I'm just not going to go to that side anymore because I feel like that's the danger zone, right? I want to easily get this next look. Perfect. So now I'm at 16.8, so I'm gonna bring that down to power. So now I'm at power 5.3. So I'm 2 stops different from what I was with the telezoom using this white beauty dish. Now I understand if you guys don't give me this as another look, simply because I want to demonstrate the difference between a silver and a white beauty dish to be nice, you know? And I think that's another look. Like that right there. I mean, that right, look at that. Yeah, you like that. Yeah, I saw that face. Someone makes those lips like they just had some hot chicken. You know you got a good demo going. Man, look, I'm always hungry. You guys should turn this air conditioner on like I'm hungry.
Yeah.
This is like, I need you guys to turn this on to like obese mode. Right now, I'm about to die. Can you move over just a little bit? No, I like the heat.
3 seconds ago.
That's how we keep the rotisserie chickens warm. What do you guys think everyone's getting after this? Is free rotisserie chicken.
Oh my God.
I can't even say rotisserie chicken. You're a little too woke for me, Seth.
Yo,
I can't even talk about rotisserie chicken.
the stream's cutting out. I don't know what's going on. I'm losing power over here. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's not. Adorama pays their electric bill. Perfect. Look at that. Shut up. It's a portrait. All right, let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shut up. Dasha, they ain't ready for this. So that was our white beauty dish. Now we want to see the difference between the white and the silver. Dasha, should we show them this trick that we do? How, uh-oh. Can you help me out? Can you grab that beauty dish for me? I feel like I'm gonna reach over there, and if I eat it on public TV, I know this is YouTube, not public TV. And if you can grab that white disc for me, perfect. Thank you. Just this one. Perfect. I appreciate you. So this little disc fell out of my beauty dish. I almost didn't know the beauty dish was gonna look that good. I'm lying. Y'all knew I knew it was gonna look good, right? But now we're gonna go to the silver beauty dish. Normally I would turn the modeling light off to do this, but one of the things I like about LED modeling lights is you don't have to. But you guys can see the difference between the white and the silver. Seth, what camera is on me right now? Do you guys see the difference between, I'm joking. Have you ever tried to like yell through the TV? I remember my father used to try to do that. Like, they can't hear you in the World Cup right now. No, they can hear me. No, they can't. Trust me. So now we're going right to the silver. Boop. Now, what would happen if I didn't remeter this one? Dasha, looking right there. Looks sad. Because that's what's going to happen. Actually, I like it. But I probably need to come down a little bit. And the one thing that you're seeing here, man, that looks good. You see the difference between the silver and the white? Dash, can you give me this same pose? Perfect. I'm just going to remeter this one. I feel like the exposure didn't actually change much. Only changed by about 1/3 of a stop. Perfect. Now the exposure is exactly the same, so you guys can see more of a 1v1. Perfect. And so now, if I bring those two up, you can see the difference between using the silver and the white beauty dish. I love this. And what can we instantly go to because we were ready? We could just turn our fill light back on. But what changed now that I turn my fill light back on that I may want to make a little adjustment? The ratio changed only because she moved forward a little bit. So now I know I definitely need to turn it down to maintain that ratio. So now is one of those times where I'm going to guess, because to get it perfect, I'd have to take the gel back off, remeter, find what the proper exposure is, and get everything dialed in. We don't have time for that because I got to get to 20 looks. So I'm going to dial this down. I'm going to go half a stop down, and I'm going to see first, do I get this as another look to silver beauty dish or no? Okay. Hey, Dasha, give me 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Now I could stick with the red, but I don't know if the red would be appropriate in order to make this another look. So I'm going to go to one of my favorite gels, which is 728. Again, I'm just going to give it a little piece of gaff tape, which I lost that whole roll of gaff tape already. But I'm going to steal a piece. I'll steal a piece from here. That's to the rescue. I got a piece. appreciate it though, Steph.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it quick here.
Perfect. And so now I'm going to take off this red gel because I feel like you guys are a little tired of the red gel. I'm going to go to this gel. Don't ask me to see what it looks like in here. Just let you know it's a mess, and Seth got a lot of that in his ear.
What?
I didn't know if you could hear all that gel going in there. I thought you got a lot of gel in your ear.
I'll wear headphones in if you want.
And so now, taking another photograph, see if I can get away with another one. Oops, I got to turn that gel on. You guys got a freebie. Perfect. And so now what we're running into, and I hope no one from Pro Photo is watching, but I'm only being honest. If you're using like a beauty dish and you don't have what I'm going to call like the perfectly protruding light, here I just have a dome on it, I'm getting a little bit of an, I'm going to call it an artifact. You see this little round circle? It's a little bit of an artifact that I'm getting from the silver beauty dish because it's more of like a flat front. There are some people out in the audience right now, they're like, yes, he said it. They know what I'm talking about. Everybody else is sitting there like, what the world is he talking about? But to get rid of that aberration a little bit, Pro Photo makes this sock. They don't make it for that particular purpose. But this sock right here is like very, you know? It's like a little bit more transparent than a normal sock. So I'm gonna put that over our beauty dish. I've learned to do this really slow because I try to do it fast and it snaps back. And then no one looks good when that happens. So sometimes take your time so you don't look foolish. I'm gonna give you guys a before and after. I know that cut just a little bit of light, but not substantially enough. And so now, and I'm gonna turn this fill light off because it's just not working. And I'm gonna go there. And I feel like it cleans the aberration up a touch, but actually not that much. But we need to move on and get to another look. I spent too much time on these beauty dishes. How many looks am I up to right now? Like 8 or something like that? Well, I'm not worried. I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve. I almost stepped on this grid. And I don't think anybody wants to replace one of these. This is the overpriced grid, but I like that. Now, what should we do now, Dasha? You don't know. I'm asking you. You're just like, man, you told me to come here. So next, I'm going to show a light shaper. I'm sure if someone in the audience has this light shaper, you win $1 million. But you have to show me a picture of it on your, I'm just making that up. Because someone, you're going to have one. And I'm going to be like, man, I don't got $1 million. But Teresa back there may have $1 million for you. So this light stand for what I want to do next actually isn't short enough. So I can keep Dasha. Dasha, I'm gonna have you move back a foot. Thank you very much. I'm gonna grab another light stand. Would you like a free arm? But I do have $1 million question for someone. Can someone tell me why the light shaper I'm about to show you is beneficial and why someone would actually make it? Now you gotta be quick because I gotta get through 20 looks. This here, why not just make a regular softbox? Why make this perfect, even softbox, edge to edge? Does anyone know why? $1 million question.
Even illumination.
Even illumination. But when you are doing product photography, oftentimes the product can see the light source. And so if you want to create perfect highlights inside the product, you want to have perfect edge-to-edge evenness, but you also want this to rest perfectly on the bottom of the table so you don't get a black line from where the table edge meets the light edge and you get a weird highlight inside of your product. Now you can use AI, but I'm a little old school. And I like to use something like this Pro Box. If I didn't like make, ooh, I didn't even think that was gonna hit the ground that hard. But we're riding dirty, so it happens. Gosh, I'm gonna have you move that way just a little bit. So as I'm moving her off her mark, what's the one thing that's changing? Her relation to my fill light. But one of the things I did mentally is my fill light's lined up with these electrical sockets right there. So I know how far away she is if I want to bring her back to center. So this softbox right here, has anyone ever heard that story in terms of like the softness of a light can be judged based upon its relative size to the size of the subject? Well, I'm going to demonstrate that for you now and hopefully try to squeeze 2 looks out of this, even if one of them isn't that pretty. Gosh, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the light. Don't worry. Come forward just a little bit. And I want you to position your head about right here where my hand is, so the side of your face is about right there. And you're going to come over just a little bit. Perfect. Even more. Come a little closer. Perfect. And I'm going to move you back just a touch. Perfect. And you guys should be able to see from that angle that this light is kind of aligned perfectly with the side of Dasha's face. So her face is kind of at the back half of this light. By positioning her face towards the back half of the light, I'm going to get the light to wrap around a little bit more. When you hear someone talk about light wrapping around, it's not really wrapping. What the secret is, except if you go to the overhead camera for this one, the light from this corner is able to see more parts of her face. Dasha, bring your face forward. If she brings her face forward, the light is not going to wrap as much. Keep bringing your face back. If she brings her face back, it's going to be able to wrap around more. That's basically, if she can see this corner over here, that is also helping illuminate her face. Does anybody need a clearer visual of what that looks like? Even if it takes away and sacrifices me getting a look for the sake of education? Because I'm okay with that. Because I get roasted chicken after this. Perfect. And Dasha, here I want your face straight onto the camera. Beautiful. And now I'm going to remeet her. I'm at 2.83. This light shaper happens to eat a lot of light. So one of the downsides of this light shaper is the sacrifice we make for this evenness is power. And so here I'm at 8.7, but I'm at set power 7.8. And I have this thing literally about 8 inches from her face. And chin down just a little bit. Chin that way just a touch. And just kind of give your head a little tilt. Beautiful. Yeah, it's like that silence, right? Sometimes you gotta, now we have a completely different look there, right? Now, if we wanted that to be even softer, Dasha, this is gonna get uncomfortable, right? Don't worry. I'm gonna bring this even closer. I know, don't worry. I'm gonna bring this light just so it's out of the frame. I'm gonna even position it a little bit more to the front. Because we're working in these inches, I went up like a half a stop by doing that. So now I'm at power 7.4 and looking into the camera again, Dasha. This way, tilt your chin kind of looking towards the light just a little bit. Perfect. And now we have this really, really soft light. And so let me break something down for you real quick. When shooting skin, you have 3 different types of reflections. You have direct reflections, which are what you see right here in the lips. You have direct polarized reflections, which oftentimes may be like parts of the cheek that shine a little bit, but those will be mixed with direct reflections. And then you have diffuse reflections, like what you see like underneath her eye, like direct reflection on the tip of the nose, diffuse reflection on the bridge of the nose. You want to control these when you're shooting skin. That is the secret. I'm not going to go deep dive into that. It may be room for another show. But that's what I want you to do now is simply, how much power do I have on here? I have a little power left. To show how hard the light gets when it gets smaller relative to the size of her face, I want you to move 3 feet that way. Right there. Perfect. That's great. Shoot, I didn't get more looks over there. You know what? We'll come back. But now I'm going to come here This is for demonstration purposes, not for aesthetic reasons. And again, you're gonna tilt your face towards the light a little bit. I'm gonna meter this. Oop, I lost a lot of power. I'm going all the way up to power 10. And I still lost a half a stop, so I'm gonna have to get some of that back on the lens. Perfect. And yep, I was cropping your forehead off just a little bit on that one too. Now, watch how hard the light gets relative to the previous picture. So that difference there is simply the placement of the light. By having it really close to the light, we get a very soft light. Look at the specular highlights in the lips and the skin. By moving the light away, it's now relatively smaller. And so now the relationship between the direct reflections and the diffused reflections is more contrasty. This is the secret to shooting skin. People are like, oh, you got to overexpose, you got to do this. No, you have to balance the direct polarized and the diffuse reflections on skin in order to photograph it properly. Sometimes move the person closer to the light or make the light larger relative to the size of the subject. If I had a light that was like a 12 by 12 over here, and someone would be like, hey, why you use the light so big? I'd be like, because I want to make the light larger relative to the size of our subject so that our direct reflections have less contrast to our diffused reflections and we have less glare, hot spots. That's how you control it. I don't get a hand for that. That was good. That was like good material. I know you guys were listening. I appreciate you for that. Now, if you can come back over to this light so we can actually stay right there, because this would be one of those instances where like if we were here, it's like either this is Dasha after someone stole her roast chicken from her, and the lighting for that is appropriate. So give us like angry faces on this one. 1, 2, 3. And now even looking out of the light, just turn your head. 4. I know that's not beautiful, but I'm going to quickly go back to adding our fill light. I'm gonna take another half stop out of it because I had to open my lens up because this light was so inefficient. Now we're gonna do that one more time with a little bit of fill. Now we get like a little bit of fill. I forgot that I didn't have the red in there anymore. I feel like that could be like some murder mystery movie cover, right? Last one. He's gonna look real mean in that. Woo! But let's go back over here so I can steal that. Do I have a question, Seth? Yes.
Nick in the chat is asking, do you ever use TTL and keep the power ratio and keep the ratio of the power by the lights instead of remetering?
For me, the difficulty with TTL is I don't know exactly what the light is doing. And so give me 1 second to answer your question, Phil, even though this may take away from some of my looks. I'm gonna go here. 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 Huh, I kind of liked going back there. It was good kind of to revisit some of these. There. Even though you didn't give me these. Then we started there. So the one thing you guys have realized, I went through all these different looks, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I didn't have to do a lot of guesswork. If I was to use TTL every time I start changing light positions, if I change whether or not the camera can see her face or not, it's gonna change the way TTL works. Working fully manually, that I don't want there to be bad pictures that my client sees. If I come back and go through our entire shoot, there has to be a picture there first, Ed. But if I come back and go through our entire shoot, what you're not gonna see is every time I change looks, now this is not talking mess on anyone this happens to. It just happens to be my style. Is I'm not gonna go and do that and be like, oh, just give me a minute, let me fix that. 1 second, let me get back to like right there. I never want my clients to see, even I guessed again and I thought I was gonna get it right and I still messed it up. So it enables me to land on the first exposure so that as I'm shooting, I don't run into a lot of these. Every time you take a picture, two things happen. Actually, three things happen. Someone's really happy, someone doesn't care, or someone just lost faith in your ability as a photographer. This picture here, someone would lose faith in my ability as a photographer. Here, I'm explaining something to you guys. You guys know what I'm trying to do in terms of the hard light, soft light. So this was illustrative, but ultimately, this does nothing for either one of us. And so there's a bunch of light meters you can use. You can use your eyes, you can use the camera, you can guess just based on like where the sun is and your past experiences. You can use histograms, waveform monitors. I think you should learn how to use all of them because they could fail you. And getting back to the question, do I use TTL? I would use TTL in a situation where I'm using on-camera flash. I have no idea what my exposure is as it's changing. And I want something where I have a safe enough exposure where I could make changes in post if I had to get it back to perfect. And oftentimes TTL does that. When I will never use TTL is when I have lights that aren't coming from the camera towards the model. Once I start putting lights and positioning them all around, there's some people who've mastered TTL like that. For me, I feel like it's a recipe for disaster. And there's more chances for my subject to lose faith in me by having a bad exposure. So I use everything, but I do not favor TTL, especially in studio environments. Now I forgot where I was at. I got to look at my notes. Why you guys letting me answer this? Oh, I know somewhere we haven't gone to yet. If you can go back towards the background again, Dasha. Oh, perfect. She reminded me that we didn't take any pictures. See that? Dasha always listens. When I do this 18 beauty dish test, Dasha was actually the model for it. And without her, it wouldn't have happened. Because she caught so many small mistakes that could have been made. Dasha, you'd be a good photographer. Not better than me. No, I'm joking. But 8.6. So now coming back. So again, why do I meter? So that I can land right back there, right? I don't have to test. And it's consistent with everything I've done throughout my whole shoot. So if I do want to apply looks to stuff, it's going to be really easy. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But now I do want to add a fill light to this. I'm just going to drop my fill light down by 2 stops. Perfect. And that fill light is on, yes. And 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna give one more stop to our fill light. Perfect. It's giving me just a little tone to the background, but it's not filling in too much. I'm gonna move out of the way as well. And last one. Beautiful. That's my favorite. Thank you for that one, Dasha. So next, I'm gonna have you move back towards the background. Actually, stand up for me. I'm gonna use our beauty dish similar to the way we were using our, let's see if I can steal another look out of this one. What did I do with the white beauty dish? Oh, it's right over there. I see what you was up to. See? He's one of the rule breakers that we talked about in the beginning. So now I want to go back to using this light over there. And because I have that light stand over there, I'm able to quickly, I didn't even see that. Let's open that back up a little bit. But because I have this light stand over there, and Dash, if you get up for me again, perfect. Can you hold this light? Yeah. Thank you very much. See, I'll get you a model that can hold the light. Perfect. I'm gonna tilt this down again. Because it's over Dasha, I'm gonna use our safety cable again. so that if I make a mistake because I'm rushing through this, no harm comes to Dasha. That's a good thing, right? And when I hang the safety cable, I like to make sure that if the light does fall, there's not enough loose safety cable where it can like swing down and pop someone in the forehead. Not like that's ever happened before. I know this would hurt. Like this is a $60,000 lawsuit right here, just waiting to happen. Like if I had like a D30, that's like a $20,000. Like that ain't getting you that far. So now we're going to our white beauty dish. I'm gonna run the cable over here. And I think I'm gonna get another look out of this. Boop. But I may not get to 20. Boop. I kind of like that. Boop. You see those sounds? I do that so people actually think something's going on. But there's not a lot going on right now. So Dasha, if you sit back down for me. Perfect. Making sure this is extra tight. And now you're gonna go all the way back against the background for me. And I'm gonna get this safety a little bit tighter than what it currently is. Okay, okay. Now I feel like we are extra, extra, extra safe. If not, Dasha, don't worry, because this is a $60,000 light. And it's all on Adorama. I'm just here for the culture and the roasted chicken. Perfect. Okay. So now, and I'm gonna position you over to the right just a little bit more. Right there, perfect. What I'm looking for is I like this light spread that I'm getting. This spill that's happening on the background. Let's see if I can use that to my favor. Gosh, I'm gonna bring this a little bit lower. Perfect. That took way too long. But it was for safety, right? If I wasn't being safe, we'd have been done already. And lean your head kind of back against the wall, kind of dramatic. Perfect. I'm at F32 there, so I need to take a lot of power out of that. And get this back to 8.7. I don't know why I chose 8.7. I just kind of landed there and said that's where I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna get this light reset, and I'll give you guys an idea of like how I do it.
Someone's asking how many sandbags you have on that one C stand over there.
I have
2?
3 sandbags on it. I know someone's gonna, everybody always looks at the C-stand legs. Like, do you have anything better than, no, I'm joking. I mean, you got that arm going the wrong way. I know. What you gonna do, come through the computer screen? It's not that type of show. Sometimes I should get buttons instead of snaps, right? Breakaway photographer. So I'm coming back. Make sure our light is still kind of where it was. Now I'm gonna get our fill light back to 8.7 as well. Gotta go way up on that. Go down a little bit. Go up a little bit. Perfect, I'm back to 8.7. And then to gel it perfectly, again, I'm just gonna slap this red on it. After I know that it already meters correctly. I like these clips that ProPhoto put on here. They are kind of quick. First I was like, nah, I like Velcro, but then using these little clips, I'm like, you know what? These clips are actually a little bit better. And the Velcro is not that aggressive. Perfect. And so now coming right back over. And from using the red before, I know I did like it down about a stop, so I am gonna turn it down a stop, but 9.5 is where, if I want it to be like right on the money, I'm gonna turn this light back on. Depending on what I was doing, how many lights I was mixing, there is a chance I may take like another overall exposure. But now I'm kind of going back to one of our first looks. I'm gonna go a little bit wide again. Just changing my camera position because I'm cropping out what's going on that light stand over there. Pose is great, Dasha. And hopefully this is another look. Do I get away with that one? With that wide spread of light over the top now? Perfect. But again, my fill light, I feel like it's a little too bright. I'm gonna bring it down another stop. And I have a big piece that's uncovered. So I'm getting a lot of white light spilling around. And I want it to be more red. When you look at your gel light, ideally, you don't want to see like any white light poking through. And I happen to have a lot. So it'll be a little bit more red. Man, I got 4 minutes left and I haven't even got through that many looks. I have to get to the gimmies real quick. Perfect. And perfect. There we go. By gelling this a little bit more correct. And let's knock out 5 real quick.
So for those of you commenting in the chat
3,
about the background texture, that's
4,
what happens when humidity gets to your paper.
5.
Just so you
I
know.
like that background texture.
You like anything negative. You're just like, I love it. I love when my arm catches fire.
So that looks
No,
good. Now, what else can we do to quickly add something to this? We're going to try to make this a beauty shot, Dasha. So I'm going to have you sit a little bit more straight instead of against the backdrop. Feet on the ground so your head goes a little bit lower. I'm trying to get another look by quickly just changing position. I'm going to bring this a little bit more to the front so that now that little line drops behind her head. Again, the goal here is to be as intentional as possible and to get there with as few wasted frames as possible. So now my light changing position, I went up like a half a stop. I'm at power 3.8 now. And I'm gonna do a quick test just to make sure I have that line going behind her head now. Again, these small changes can make a big difference. So now instead of having that line above her head, we have it behind her head. And now we're gonna fill in with our gel one more time. Perfect. But now to add something a little bit different to this shot, we're gonna do a little bit of underlighting. So to do that, I'm gonna turn all these lights off. I'm gonna bring in our underlight that I just had sitting here. How are you doing, underlight? I'm doing all right. I know I wasn't using you before. I know, but I don't take it.
there's a request to see that shot with just the fill light.
You wanna see that shot with just the fill light? That's an easy one. I'm gonna turn all my lights off. You're gonna see a little bit of a reflector there, but I apologize for that. Actually, you know what? Let's do this the right way. And Dasha, if you can give me that same pose, both hands on the hips, perfect. And we see what that looks like just with the fill light, because I'm here for the people. And you can see what that looks like just with the fill light on there. Perfect. Now I'm gonna put this light back on. I hope that person is happy. And I'm gonna now look for a gel that I lost back here. This purple gel, this blue. And I am going to, again, how do I, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I know. Ma'am, drop that box. That's my old Western movie. I've watched like 2 Western movies in my life, and one of them is like, drop that box. I remember that scene. I don't even remember what was in the box. And I don't even know if they had good drugs back then. Sorry. Instead of the, I know, I was gonna go somewhere with that, but I shut myself down. You see that? That's called maturity. when you can just hold back. Perfect. So now I have this light coming from underneath. Now, most of the time when you underlight someone, it looks horrible. We're gonna start with your chin up, but then I'm gonna have you look down into the light. So start with the chin up, and yeah, we don't love that, right? I'm gonna go even a little tighter. And chin up first. We don't love it, but now go chin down, 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 down. Even lean forward a little bit more. Perfect. Because you did that, I should probably remeter because the light probably changed a lot. Well, we only changed by 0.2 of a stop. But looking right into the light. Now I have that, but I want to just add this shot. Seth gave me this beautiful piece of gaff tape right here. I'm gonna take this piece of gaff tape.
Extra pretty.
And I'm just gonna slap this gel over the, I already had a piece of gaff tape on there. No one told me. You know what? This is what happens when you run out of friends in life. And without changing anything, just looking at me, you're gonna see what this gel looks like properly exposed, but now we can make a creative decision, right? And I'm gonna open it from experience. I already know I wanna open this up just 2 stops, right? I'm gonna go to 5.3. And now I'm gonna get that. That's what everybody was expecting, I know. So now we're gonna turn everything on, right? I'm gonna turn all my lights on. And now, I kind of like this whole 3 light thing going here. Now I am getting this weird kind of reflection up top from this beauty dish. How do I get rid of that? Come on, come on. Look at the position of all my lights. I'm getting a shadow coming from someone at home gave this away when they said, we would just like to see the fill light all by itself. To get rid of that shadow above her head, I take my fill light. If I could get even lower, it would help. Bring it to like here. And now I'll be able to put some red into it. Watch this, because I need to stand out of the way. Why? Because I got a big body. I know some of y'all was into that. See? And now I have like this little red above her head. But if it's really bothering me, what would I do? I'll just basically, I could bring this light even lower, or I'd have to change the position of this light, or change the position of like our light up there to kind of go back to the original position. But now let's do some poses to count. You're having a little too much fun in that one, Dasha. Perfect. And for this one, I'm just gonna kind of go beauty. I'm gonna make that shadow above her head basically no longer matter. If you don't like something and you need to get rid of it quickly, and you can't get your camera off the tripod, you basically crop stuff out in a shot that you don't like. So you can quickly land on another look, trying to see where I need to crop. Perfect. I'm gonna crop off a little bit of your forehead. Beautiful. And I'm in the way of a lot of the red, and for me, that's just too much blue. I'm gonna take our blue back to kind of where it was properly exposed. Perfect. Because I have all this so tight and I have such a small fill light, one of those times where shooting with the LCD really comes in handy because I can not stand in the way of my fill light. And you see the difference there? Perfect. And give me looking down into this blue light so I can see like some catch lights, except you're gonna tilt your chin down. Perfect, even more. So I get the catch lights of the blue. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love. And basically what I had her do is basically tilt her chin down so that I could get that little kind of like catch light in the eye there to get a little bit more detail there. Now, one thing you've noticed is that all the pictures I've taken, I've done 0 capture one, meaning all these images today have, if I go back to adjust, there's no adjustments here. I like to learn photography where like after I take a picture, I'm like, okay, now I wanna lift the shadows. I wanna do X, Y, and Z. I like to get it as close in camera as possible, not saying that I don't do all those things, but I think learning photography based upon like what the sensor can do and getting your light to a point where you have as much room and dynamic range after the fact to make those little changes is simply the way I like to work. So let's see how many looks I got, because I know I didn't get to 20, but I tried.
You might have. You might have.
We'll see what this one counts. Oh, my computer just made a sound. AI is taking over already. I'm gonna, you heard that, and I didn't do anything. This counted as a look. This counted as a look.
Should have started as you were going.
I know, and then I'd have been there already.
Like, boom.
This one was a look. Without the fill was a look. This was a look. And then just changing beauty dishes got another look. Bare bowl was another look. Here was another look. Man, I did not hit it. I didn't get it. I think next time, I'm not going to talk about light shapers so much. I'm going to try to actually get to 20.
But the name of the demo was choosing a light modifier.
I know, but sometimes you get carried away on Instagram. You're up too late. You get into that sauce kind of late at night. And then you just start. That's what happens. Like, I still drink Ripple. A lot of people don't even know what Ripple is. That's why that was a horrible joke. Because all these jokes are for people who were born in like 1975. But if I look at all the looks that we got today, next time I promise I'll go a little bit harder. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 3 more. You know what, Capture One? Don't be leaving out 3 looks. So we got close. Next time, we're going for 20. Well, how many did we get? Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. Perfect. My math isn't so good this late at night. So I appreciate all of you guys. Is it? Yeah, it's 6:06. And my parking garage closes at 7 o'clock because Manhattan has no shame, right? So I appreciate all of you. Come back next time. We're doing this again. Teresa, I forget the date. But I think next time I'm going for 20. Like, no talking. I'm just going for straight 20 looks next time. And I'm going to do it. And I need you to come be the judge again. That's what I'm talking about. So I appreciate all of you guys. Adorama, thanks for having me. And hey, we got to 14.
Thank your mom.
Oh, and thanks, Dasha. Seth reminded me I should thank Dasha. The model always gets a plaque.